back again on a Sunday.
On a Sunday, words. I don't know. Why do I do that every fucking episode? I start with a song.
It's your new thing.
It's my new thing.
I like it. I like it. Run with it.
Is this the second Sunday? Second Sunday we've done one?
This is the second Sunday in a row, and we're here even earlier today.
Yeah, even earlier, for sure.
It's the ass crack of 11:45 a.m.
Just wrapped up my brunch, even though I didn't. Can you call it brunch if you didn't get alcoholic beverage?
Yeah.
Okay.
If you're
just late breakfast.
I think if you're eating a meal between breakfast and lunch, it's brunch.
Brunch. Okay.
But it's definitely bunch. It's bunch.
It's bunch brunch.
It's a bunch of brunch. If you drink, it's definitely a brunch, I guess.
That's definitely a brunch.
But yeah. So did you brunch or did you bunch?
I just brunched. I had a cup of coffee. I had a water. Actually, Ross refilled my coffee 4 times.
Wow.
That's a lot of coffee.
So you're on
a little.
one.
I couldn't get my cortado, so I had to get
the Cortado Kid.
Hung my hat up today. The Cortado Kid could not save the city.
You hung your hat and you hung your cup right there on a hook.
The old Cortado cup.
Ride you another day. Those are the tiniest drinks, by the way. So let's just fill people in here.
Sure.
You are on this Cortado kick, and I have dubbed you the Cortado Kid.
Yes.
As you drink what, 2 a day?
At least 2 a day.
At least?
At least 2.
Sometimes a third?
Sometimes a third.
Really?
I'll walk on my lunch break or break and go get one. That thing.
So sometimes 3.
Sometimes 3.
Oh my god.
That's a lot of Cortado. It's 2 ounces of espresso. Topped with 2 ounces of steamed milk.
Okay. So it's just a fancy espresso.
With a small layer of foam. Well, but espresso you get, it's espresso with a kiss of milk in it.
A kiss of milk?
Kiss of hot milk.
That sounds gross.
That sounds sexual.
Kiss of hot milk.
Yeah, kiss of hot milk, baby.
Lactate formula.
No, it's good. It's a delicious coffee beverage. Yeah, it is small. It appears very small, but if they put it in an actual cup, I guess it would be small too.
But it's got a kick.
It does have
It's got that Cortado kick.
It's got that Cortado kick.
You've come to know and love. I've yet to try one.
They're really good.
I will try one.
Our good friend Trevor Jackson is a big Cortado guy too. He and I discuss it regularly.
You guys kind of bonded over coffee when we were in Denver.
We really
did.
We did.
Just getting a little of that coffee. Did you get a Cortado that day?
I did.
Oh, should I have asked?
So did he. We were Cortado cousins.
Is that like Eskimo brothers?
Yeah.
We drank from the same cup.
Ooh.
Anyways, we're going to get started here in just a little bit, but first,
a little bit of business.
A little bit of business.
So you can reach us. You can find us. Reach us at 555-5555. Boyspodcast.com. It's the hub of all things boys. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all that good noise.
Links to shows.
Links to bio. There's a bio. There's not a bio.
There should be.
We should have a bio.
It would be boring.
It would be, but some people like bios. I used to love reading band bios.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. I still do.
Yeah,
I still do. There's a spot on Spotify. No pun intended.
There's a spot on.
There's a spot on Spotify where you can actually read the band bio, and I find myself doing that quite often.
I do too. Find out, especially if it's like a new band, like where are these guys from? What's their story? And then sometimes you'll find out that they are from other bands. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I didn't know the guitarist for that band started this band.
Then you scroll down, and you see related artists, and that's how you can discover new music.
That thing on Spotify is the new. We talked about it last week. It's the new pulling out the liner notes and finding new bands.
Yep, just digitally in this crazy modern world.
Yes.
So you can also find us on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and boyspodcast.com, as Josh just mentioned.
I would like to get on, speaking of Spotify, I don't know how, I think it's really difficult to get on Spotify as a podcast.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. So, John Spotify, if you're listening.
Johnny Spotify.
Hit us up at boys@boyspodcast.com. That was so professional.
It was.
Let us know. Most important thing you could do is rate, review, and subscribe. If you like what you hear, these intros aren't boring you to death before we get to the meat of the episode.
The meat and taters.
Give us a rate. Give us a quick review if you feel generous, if you feel entertained. Are you not entertained?
Is that from Gladiator?
Yes, I believe so. It's not from 300, is it?
No.
That's for Sparta, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Same guy though, right?
They look alike. One is Russell Crowe.
Oh, I thought that
who
dude
looked like our last guest.
Yes. We had Russell Crowe in last week.
We did.
You guys missed out.
And yeah, you can subscribe at any of those places. You can subscribe on iTunes. You can subscribe on Stitcher. You can subscribe on Google Play. We're on there for all you Android lovers out there.
GP.
And SoundCloud, which I think the cat's out of the bag. The episodes come out a little early on SoundCloud.
They do, so...
I get them edited. I get in there. I get them all chopped up. Minimal choppage. I put those sounds in there. I put them up in the cloud. And some people have listened. I noticed with the Jeff Hickey episode, there were 20 listens on the SoundCloud before it even went live on our website or on iTunes. But I don't mind.
That's fine. Listen, hey, wherever you want to get your listening, get your listening.
It's a special VIP sneak preview.
Sneak preview.
VIP access. Part of the Cool Kids Club.
So what you can do, if you do that, listen to it on the SoundCloud. You like it, tell a friend, hey, this Friday is going to be a badass podcast coming out. You should check it out. I already listened to it. I got access.
Yeah. I was already on SoundCloud listening to some of the traps music, some of the hips hops, some of the vapor waves and the chills and the Netflix. And you were just like, dude, I found out about this 3 days before. And now you're the cool kid on the block.
I heard it before. It was cool.
Yeah. And then you can be like, hey, turn your friend on to this iTunes. Hey, Android user, check this out. Boop, boop, boop. Pull up Google Play. Guess what? This is episode 61. I already heard it. It features our friend Rob Davis, and it's coming up here in just a moment.
It really is.
I don't know why he would say that, the guy telling it to his friends. But anyway.
That's you breaking the fourth wall, doing it.
So email us at boyspodcast.com.
Big thanks to the sponsors, Paramount Building, the Lost Ogle, Anthem Brewing. Great beers. It's too early to have a beer for me today, but normally we would be drinking some delicious Anthem beers.
We got them in the fridge. I'm looking at them right now, and boy, they look tempting.
Go to their tap room. They have some delicious ass beers, new ones that you can only get in the tap room.
Yep, they have delicious ass beers. Our friend Ben actually pours each beer
from his ass
through his butt crack into a growler.
They're really good. There's a blood orange Goza.
Well, was just orange, but then when he poured it over his butt crack,
bloody butt crack. Don't forget to take your bloody butt crack back. I don't know. That was the 90s.
Anthem beers.
Yeah, Fat Bison, good wood. Just missed dads and grads. What do we got now? Summertime, 4th of July.
Yep.
Back to school. We'll do a back to school.
4th of July is in 2 days, so this will come out after. So you can get like a post 4th of July cutting board.
Yeah.
Or perhaps a summertime bench. Nothing is better
than a summertime bench.
Than a warm summertime bench that you leave out to bake in the sun. You get out of the pool and you set your sweet, sweet
and
buns.
It's warm. It warms your buns.
It warms, it dries up the blood. Head over to Anthem, see Ben. He'll tell you all about it.
And then OKC Comedy. What we got going on with OKC Comedy?
Well, I'm glad you asked, Josh. July 15th, Mr. Greg Proops is coming back to Oklahoma City.
It's going to be a good one.
For a recording of his podcast, The Smartest Man in the World. And I listened to his newest episode last week. Jake gave me a shout out and he's like, hey, he mentions Oklahoma City. So I listened and he told me kind of where in the episode it was because it was a pretty long ep. It was like an hour and a half.
His episodes are usually pretty long.
Yeah. So I kind of skipped around. I listened to the first about 45 minutes and then I was like, okay, I'm going to skip to the end to hear the part about Oklahoma City. And he had some real nice things to say about the ACM at UCO.
He sure did.
He said it was cute.
It was cute.
So we'll just leave it at that.
He shares some of the same thoughts that we may have about that.
We may or may not have.
May or may not have.
Regardless of what the green room smells like.
Yes.
OKC Comedy. Great guys.
Great guys bringing in great talent. That's awesome. That if you're a fan of podcasts and you haven't listened to The Smartest Man in the World, do yourself a favor. Go listen to Smartest Man in the World.
Dare I say he's a witty man.
Very witty.
He's witty.
If you like baseball, guaranteed at least 30, 45 minutes of baseball talk.
He's witty. He's sharp. He's well dressed.
I was going to say sharp dressed man.
Well groomed.
Well groomed.
Always has some great shades on. We're talking about the one and only Greg Proops. I'm excited. This will be fun.
And lastly, guys, thank you for the donations, tweets, and your comments.
Yes, means so much to us. Going back to boyspodcast.com, there is a golden donate button on the top of the webpage. You can give us some green energy if you are into that sort of thing. If we're bringing joy into your life, and instead of being a vampire that is sucking out the lifeblood and the positivity, instead we're the pusher, man. We're pushing that needle into your arm and we're injecting the fun, the laughs, the camaraderie, the good times, the good vibes.
There's a thing in here.
Yeah. Speaking of good vibes, we left a few Anthem beers on the table and it's attracted some cute little fruit flies that are joining us today.
Yeah.
What do you guys have to say?
Cool, man.
All right. See you later.
See you later.
My face. And yeah, the tweets of boys is our Twitter handle. It's nice to get some feedback on there. If you guys are listening along, you're on your phone, you're at your computer at work, you're driving and tweeting like we all do. I can't not.
Drive and tweet?
I rode my scooter here, and the entire time, one-handed, I was just live tweeting my experience on my scooter.
That's awesome.
It was amazing. I'm going to do it every time.
And it's extremely safe.
Yeah.
Don't let the fat cats fool you.
I think riding the scooter with two hands is actually unsafe. So I always have one hand in my pocket.
And another one flashing a peace sign?
Yeah. Playing a piano.
Yeah,
I don't know. Waving a taxi cab because I just wrecked and I need to be taken to the hospital. Yeah, Tweets of Boys on Twitter. It's a great way to give us immediate feedback.
Yes.
If you like something, if you don't like something, shoot us a line on Twitter at Tweets of Boys, and we will read it. I guarantee you that.
Also, we have some news. New T-shirts.
Yep, they're ready right now.
We're going to go pick them up tomorrow.
Yep. They're our classic Boys floral logo, much like our first T-shirts. But this time, we're going for a summer look. I call it the Sunset in July. It's a white T-shirt with a coral Boys logo floral outline. Perfect for the summer, nice and light. And if you're lucky, your nipples might show through them when you get out of the pool.
Yeah.
Before you sit on the hot bench.
And for fat kids, I think we have a couple of double XLs that you can wear at the pool.
Why they gotta be fat? Maybe people just like to swim in their shirts.
I was a fat kid who swam in a T-shirt. And that doesn't... Hey, guys, if you do that, don't do that.
Okay, speaking of, I'm glad you brought that up. So after we leave here today, it is July 2nd, 2017. I'm actually heading up north to Edmond to go to a pool party at my cousin's house. A little pre-4th of July pool party.
Kind of overcast for a pool party.
I think I lucked out. Because as all of our loyal listeners know, I have a couple of body mods that I spoke about in an early episode.
Yeah.
My nap rings. I'm going to my family pool party, and I've been battling in my mind. Is today the day
you whip them out?
The family knows.
Yeah.
Because I know my dad. Okay, like the only people that know are my sister and Jake, her fiance, her baby daddy, my friend, my Dungeons and Dragons partner, pal, your friend.
Yeah.
We're all like family.
Good friend. It's Olive Garden in here.
So, good friends, good nips. Olive Garden. No, so... My cousin has a beautiful in-ground pool. I mean, this is one of the most beautiful pools I've ever seen on Instagram.
Got a beautiful above-ground pool.
She's got one of those Walmart blow-up ones. It is beautiful. You can fit about 4 people in there.
It goes about waist high?
Yeah. Well, anymore, the water capsizes over the edge, and you're just not going to have a good time.
Not going to have a good time.
Beautiful pool. I've never seen it in person. I've only seen pictures of it on Facebook and Instagram.
So this is the first timer.
Gorgeous pool.
Good.
She's throwing this party. There's going to be about 15, 20 of us.
Beers?
People there. There's going to be some beers.
Hot dogs?
Hot dogs, hamburgers. You know the drill. Apple pie.
It's a pool party.
Baked beans.
You going to set off some fireworks?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Is it okay? Are you guys doing, is this you doing your 4th of July tonight?
Yes.
Instead of Tuesday because it's the middle of the fucking week.
Yeah.
Thanks, America.
And we have to work the next day.
Yeah.
Womp, womp. Anyways, I'm going over there. I was I'm in a group text. You know, I used to never be in a group text, and now I just can't get enough of them. I'm in like 3, and I love it. So, anyways, we're getting the group text from the fam, picking out what we got to bring.
Oh yeah, who's going to bring what?
Yeah, well, me being the newly divorced guy, the lonely, well, not lonely, but the newly divorced guy, they're making it real easy on me. I was like, my cousin's named Tiffany. I said, hey, Tiff. I used to call her Stiffany when we were kids. It was really funny. A lot of Beavis and Butthead back then. It's like, hey, Tiff, what do you need me to bring? You know, I was going to make something. I make a mean deviled egg.
I was going to say potato salad.
That's easy too.
It is.
I call it the double doozy.
You do make good deviled eggs. I think I've had your deviled eggs before.
I make I make deviled eggs so much and I like them so much. I actually have the little like serving tray that you put the halves in.
Yeah.
I do a half and half though. I do half traditional.
Sure.
And then I do half with an avocado.
Fancy.
Like a guacamole I make out of the egg yolk and avocado. Throw some onions, and then I put a dab of salsa and then a tiny little squirt of sour cream on top.
So you get some Tex-Mex deviled eggs.
They're incredible. They're incredible. And I'll tell you the secret ingredient to my traditional deviled eggs.
Jizz.
Fuck. Sriracha.
Oh.
Yeah.
So you little squirt?
Just when you mix up the innards, Just the tiniest bit. It just adds a little zing.
A little kick.
Adds a little flavor.
A little bada bing on that.
It's so good. So yeah, I put those together, and I was going to bring some of those. They're a big hit.
Yeah.
Always gone.
Yeah.
But I think they're making it easy on me since I'm
Sure.
in a new predicament.
Yeah.
So she's like, could you just bring a 12-pack of Dr. Pepper? So you know what?
Mm-hmm.
I will. But you know what? I went above and beyond, and I'm bringing a case.
Are you riding that scooter?
Fuck no.
You're going to bring, oh, no, you wanted a 12-pack. I'm going to bring a 24.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, you know what? I'll do you one better. I'm going to bring plenty.
And a bag of ice.
Might have to grab
a bag of ice.
Yeah.
I thought you're going to do the typical, just bring your beautiful self.
Right. Yeah. Just if you want any beer, bring some beer. You just come hungry. Just bring that appetite, Robbie Ray.
Bring that appetite.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you show up and then everyone else has brought a bunch of shit. And you're like, well,
yeah, everybody's, looking around, smiling, having a good time. And there I am with a hot can of Dr. Pepper.
One.
But I'm on a warm bench. So
yeah,
all's well that ends well. So going back to the nips, I've been toiling over, is this the day? Is this the day?
Were you planning on wearing a t-shirt?
No. Okay.
No.
The thought did cross my mind. Like, do I wear like a tank top and just kind of like get in the pool? I'm not going to swim in a fucking shirt.
You can make it like you can build it up. So you sit at the edge of the pool, dangle the legs and like, I'm just going to dangle today. And then you're like, you know what? Fuck it. And you just hop in. And then you take the shirt off. Oh, I forgot to take my shirt off. And you take the shirt off. When you're in the pool, take it off so they can't really see it under the water.
And then just stay in like nose down.
Can you hand me a towel?
Just fucking crocodile that shit the whole day. Just look like a fucking crocodile all day. And then, when you get out, you're like, oh, it's so cold. I better cover these bad boys up. I might poke your eye out. No.
Or you just rock it. Just proud, loud and proud.
See, that's what I'm thinking, okay? Because my grandma's dead. My grandpa's not going to be there. Everyone else is not that much older than me. And you know what? I thought about doing this. It's the same thing I did at the Keeley party when I unveiled these bad boys to my brand new coworkers about 3 weeks after I started. I didn't swim. But later in the night, once everybody had a few beers in them or drinks in them.
Oh, the hot tub.
I got in the hot tub. And I remember standing on the edge of the hot tub, pulling my shirt off. And I think it was Robert was like, whoa, you got your nipples pierced? And I looked at him deadpan. I go, I'm a freak. Deal with it. And I cannonballed into the hot tub. So I think I might just go hard.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to make it a thing. I want to make it be like, yeah, you don't?
Yeah. Square.
Probably voted for Trump. Gross.
Ooh, you should. I'm surprised. You should. Damn it. It's too late now. I was going to say, try to find some like ends to the because they're barbells, right?
Yeah.
American flags. That would have been perfect. Swing by a Hot Topic on the way out. I guarantee they'll have them.
Dude, I didn't even think of that, and that is incredible. If I had like American flag balls, on the end of the barbells, and be like, yeah, got them done for today.
Yeah.
Said I couldn't swim for 6 weeks, but fuck it.
Freedom. Yeah. I don't care if these get infected and my nips fall off. Freedom.
I did it for you. I did it for the troops. And I did it for America. Nice. As I jump into the shallow end of the pool because I don't like to swim. But yeah, I think I might be saved by it being overcast today.
You think people are still gonna swim?
I don't think I'm gonna swim if it's. That's the thing. It's been hot as balls all week. It's been sunny.
Wanting is a pool.
Dude, we work together. How many times this week have we both said like, God, it'd be so nice to get in a swimming pool after work?
I've said the word swimming pool at least 10 times this week.
Yep.
Yesterday I said it like 3 times. I just want to get in a fucking pool.
Yeah. And now that we have the perfect day, and to be honest, the perfect pool, guess what? I don't think I'm going to be able to do it.
Maybe the sun will come out.
Tomorrow.
Wear some trunks just in case. And then see where it goes from there.
I will. And I'll check back in next week and let you know how it goes.
It's still early. It's just now noon.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm hoping, because when I was riding my scooter over here, I noticed it was pretty cloudy. It was kind of cool.
Yeah.
It wasn't raining, but it felt like it might rain.
Yeah.
So hopefully the sun will come out and wash away the clouds.
It will. The sun's been going down real late. 9:30. So you'll have plenty of sun.
All right. Well, I will check back in next week.
And just rock them.
Just sport them, right?
Sport them.
I'm proud to be an American.
But I'm glad we brought up the nipple thing because now you can do that for any holiday.
Little pumpkins.
Little pumpkins.
That's what I actually call them, my little pumpkins.
Either snowman heads or Santa hats.
I like Santa hats.
Thanksgiving turkeys. You see turkeys?
Yes, turkeys.
But then you need an excuse to take your shirt off. Or that could be your thing every year. When's Robbie going to take his shirt off?
I'm gonna turn into Bert Kreischer.
Yeah.
Only to show off my hardware.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Birthday, like little birthday hats.
Mm-hmm.
Dude.
Or birthday candles, yeah. Or the age of your,
like yeah. It'll just say 1981.
The year of my
birth. Man, we could just sit here and name
New Year's. Damn it.
A little
But the year.
Bottle of champagne.
2018.
Yes, and unlike the glasses, they would never look weird. Ever. Okay.
Totally normal.
I can talk about my nipples all day.
So can I.
But our guest is here, and without further ado, episode 61 of Boys Podcast with our friend Rob Davis. Rob Davis is here with us.
Hello.
You've traveled a distance.
I have.
And this is an undisclosed location, by the way.
Yes.
However, where did you come from?
Where did you?
Who sent you? Who are you?
I live in Raleigh, which is very far from Oklahoma City.
What is Raleigh famous for? I hear that city a lot for something. Is it Speedway? Is it a Speedway or something?
Charlotte has a speedway.
Okay.
Raleigh used to be known for music, and then that died. Pretty much the year I moved out there.
You killed it.
Yes. I was moving out there to help start a music venue, and then the city shut down. There were a bunch of house shows, like punk house shows. City shut them all down. All the music venues shut down. Like this all happened within like a year of us moving out there. Ryan Adams is from there.
Okay.
I did not know that.
So alt country was kind of born around there.
Okay. Makes sense.
But he does not play in Raleigh anymore. It's a weird, good things, but a lot of weird, like, Southern things that I don't like.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's kind of like it is here, too.
Right.
A certain flags being flown?
Yes.
Okay.
A lot.
So there's some of those sweet
Confederate
stars and
monuments.
bars. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's my favorite flag.
The first thing.
I fly it all the time.
First thing when we moved there, driving downtown and I see a huge Confederate monument and I'm like I just I didn't know what that was, or like it was weird.
Yeah.
And they're everywhere. It's just like a thing.
Yeah.
Let me ask. So being from here, you don't really see it. I mean, Oklahoma, it does have its trashy areas and its racist areas and the Southern people and a lot of those red hats flying around, a lot of those red hats. But you don't really see the blatant Confederate flag very often.
Yeah.
You see it on the back of a big truck every now and then, flapping in the breeze, or you might see a sticker or, something like that. But you don't see it overtly. But down over there, you see it pretty overtly.
Yeah, and it's we're about an hour and a half from the beach. So there's like this whole culture of like pastels and wealthy white people that are also racist.
Oh.
Like there's this whole weird culture.
Yeah.
Like I don't know what that is.
Kind of like Southern debutante.
Yes.
Well, that's
totally.
what I was going to ask is, now that you've been there for a while, you kind of know the culture, you know some areas, you've been around. Are all of the do you believe that all of the people that sport Old Glory are racist? Honestly.
I don't believe they're intentionally racist. But I think there is it's like the N-word. It's like, I could say it and that doesn't make me racist, but there's like a connotation and a symbolic thing that I'm just not going to say it.
Yeah.
So
I think there's some parallels with that, the flag that is, and the swastika. Because there's a lot of people that are like, oh, the swastika was an Indian symbol and Hitler took it and, appropriated it or whatever you want to call it, misused it. But it's like, let him have it.
Right.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
dudes,
done. That's done now.
I mean, come on. Like, you show 100 people a swastika, and I guarantee 99, if not 100 people are going to go Nazi.
Right.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
that. Yeah, that's the Jew killing thing, right? Like that's the oven thing and
Yeah.
the
The
wiping
showers
out.
and
Yeah, the wiping out of a whole human race almost. Like, yeah, that's that thing. Not used on a teepee
yeah.
or, engraved in a buffalo hide. That makes me sound racist. I'm not. I just use the N-word a lot.
See, I thought you were talking about the other Indian, like the actual Indian.
No, Native American.
But that the swastika was used in many different.
Right. I'm no
goes way
scholar
back.
here. That's why we invited Mr. Rob Davis.
Yeah.
But it has been.
He's got the smarts over here.
My point is, it predates Adolf Hitler
Right.
and the Nazi Party.
Well, and that goes like he was saying, like there's Confederate monuments for like soldiers and generals everywhere in the South. And I read an article. The person was saying having that around would be the same as having like Hitler monuments in Poland and Germany, and like you don't have it because why would you want to? By doing that, you're stating that this person is worth
right.
celebrating.
But hey, let's give it to Hitler. He was very efficient.
Sure.
So let's erect a statue, even if it's no. I'm joking. But yeah, they were just fighting to keep slaves.
Yeah.
That's all they were doing.
believed in it.
Well, and the worst thing is the whole like, oh, the I've heard this probably 20 times since we moved out there. Oh, the Civil War was about states' rights. Okay. What were the states' rights you were fighting for? To keep slaves. Like,
Yeah. They weren't fighting to legalize marijuana or for taxes. You know, no, they were fighting so they didn't have to work hard when they were done fighting.
Right.
Anyways.
Yeah.
So on to something more fun and more important than slavery.
Yes.
I'm drinking a beer. You know what? I thought that I wasn't going to have one, but you brought us a very nice
brought a
gift.
delicious one.
A Wicked Weed Brewing Cucumber. Cucumber. It's a golden ale brewed with cucumbers, basil, and juniper berries. And I'll tell you what, it's quite delicious.
Yes.
Thank you, Rob.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's very cool of you. You also brought us waters, which is nice.
Yes. Yeah.
Thank you.
Beer is, it's a big, like, pervasive thing in North Carolina. North Carolina's kind of known for like, it's like Virginia, North Carolina, known for beer. So it's everywhere. Like literally in Raleigh. Like I took a photo of a screenshot of a map of all the places where you could go walk in and get a cold draft craft beer. And it's like within 2 to 3 miles of no matter where you're at in Raleigh, you can do that. Like it's like churches. Like
Every corner there's a
so there's
brewery or
like
something.
beer and a church. Like that's
Gotta love that beer.
yeah.
Well, those states were known for and very popularized and I guess economically based on tobacco. That was like their big thing, and now there's like fewer people smoking now, so got to do something else.
And more people drinking,
Well, a lot more people drinking.
I think.
With marijuana becoming more and more legalized, those states should just jump on that. Like, pull up your fucking tobacco plants to start growing. You could just throw a seed on the ground. That's what I heard, right? You just throw a seed on the ground and it sprouts up.
It's the only plant that can grow out of a crack in the sidewalk.
Is that your hippie?
Yeah. No, I agree. But you know what? When that last Confederate monument is knocked down
Oh, yeah.
by some liberal in a Prius, the first seed will be sown. I can see the future. I'm looking in my crystal ball. I can see the future.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Revolution?
Of sorts.
Okay.
Of the mind.
A Prius revolution?
So, Rob, we go back really far.
Yes.
Really far. And you were a guest on my old podcast, and I kind of want to get into some of that stuff again for our new and loyal listeners and
Previous
for Josh here.
podcast.
I was warming up, dude.
Oh, yeah?
I was warming up for you.
Getting ready?
Yeah. So we go back to the Christian punk rock and hardcore days
Yes.
of Oklahoma. And Josh sent me, in preparation for seeing you, Josh sent me that sweet YouTube video of us performing on stage together.
Was that dang it, what's that song called?
Clench?
Yes.
Featuring Hardcore Rob
At Outer Cafe.
at the Outer Cafe.
Yeah, my wife, you sent my wife a friend request, a follow request on Instagram. She goes, "Who's Rob Davis. I was like,
That's how she talks all the time.
Yeah, it's Rob Dava. And I was like, oh, it's hardcore Rob. She goes, what? So
He loves porn.
I immediately pulled up the YouTube video and showed it to her. And at first, she pointed to Robbie. I was like, is that Robbie?
It was, is that Robin?
Is that Robbie?
It's like that Jimmy Fallon. Ugh.
And then first thing she commented on was you really did wear giant pants.
I did. And there was a connection back then to like the hardcore punk nu metal stylings that I was into and the Jinko. And I actually have that on the boys list here. It says 11 hours down, wide legs. So I'll just cross that off.
Wide legs.
Wide legs.
Wide legs.
So did you ever front a band back in the day?
I mean, I did.
Or were you just like trying to steal my spotlight?
Yeah. I did a lot of guest things. I don't know why, like how that became a thing, but there were like a lot of bands that I would just do like a song with. I don't know why. So I was in a lot of bands, none of which ever performed live. So
just jammed in the garage.
Had a few of those.
Recorded.
Going to Still Creek Music, record a 2-song demo
on a 4-track cassette player. Oh, terrible.
Yeah, and it was actually kind of cool. I was just in Nashville and hung out with the dude who's actually in a really cool band now called the Lonesome Town Drifters. Plug. They're awesome.
What dude?
His name's Aaron, but he was the first drummer in a band that I was in when I was 14. And he is like, they're like fast punk and he's amazing. It's awesome.
Lonesome Town Drifters is a punk?
Yeah.
It sounds to me, you tell me that name, I'm thinking like Ryan Adams-y alt country.
Yeah.
Kind of a John Moreland Black Gold bandy kind of a vibe.
See, I was thinking like old Texas swing.
Old Texas
swing.
Like a
But I'm glad that they're not. Yeah, I'm glad that they're not.
Yeah. No, they're good. But yeah, it was cool. Just to anyway, hang out with old friends. 20-year friends, which sounds so weird now.
It's crazy. It's so crazy.
And he lives in North Carolina?
He lives in Nashville.
That's crazy. So, okay, did you know that before you moved out to that side of the world? I mean, those are pretty close, right?
It's about halfway from Oklahoma City to
So not close
Raleigh.
at all.
So it's like 10 hours, then another 10 hours. Yeah.
It's just right around the corner.
See, as a person, what are we Midwest?
We're Midwest, right?
South Midwest?
I think we're Midwesterners.
My mind is, I've only really gone west. I've never gone, I've gone east, but I've gone just, through like the Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, like anything to get to like Jacksonville, or not Jacksonville, Florida for the fest. That's it. It's all southern states.
I'm going to the fest this year.
Are you? It's awesome. Don't Make Ghosts playing the fest this year. It's going to be tight. I really want to go, but it's actually super cheap for a festival. 3 days, like $75. Anyways, I just assume all of those southern states, like the tobacco country, I just assume they're all just so fucking close together that you can just hop in a car and just drive there.
Yeah.
Like everything's like an hour away from each other, right?
Just like heading down to Norman.
Yeah.
No, it's 10 hours.
Yeah.
It's far.
And there's, Asheville's about halfway between Nashville and Raleigh, and so it's in the mountains, and so that sucks driving through that. So it's not close. But
Yeah, not close.
Well, besides the blatant racism, do you like living in Raleigh?
Yeah, we love it. I mean, I think so we will have been there 10 years in September. And what we love about it is like hour and a half to the beach, 3 hours to the mountains, 4 hours to DC, pay $100 and jump on an hour flight to New York, get down to Florida pretty quickly. Like just where it is.
Yeah.
More than like Raleigh's the greatest city ever. Like, I don't care.
No, you're like kind of in the middle of all this cool stuff, it sounds like.
Right.
Whereas,
like a hub. It's like you can easily get.
Yeah.
It's a hub of all things Davis, really.
Yes.
I don't know. I was trying to make a connection and it failed. But in Oklahoma, it's like we're really not close to much cool shit.
Yeah.
It's a good 8 hours in any direction, 7 to 8 hours. It's 7 hours to Austin.
Yeah.
It's 9 hours to Denver. God knows how far it is to New York or LA.
We are the heart of the United States. We're the center of the United States. So it should be just like, whew.
Yeah.
But everything's too fucking far away.
When I was a kid and I was like trying to be punk, I'd be like, yeah, Oklahoma's like It's like the butthole of America, and all the shit collects there.
That's so smart.
Dude, I was pretty cool.
You're pretty cool.
In my wide legs.
Yeah.
I don't know. It wasn't cool. But I also say it's the buckle of the Bible Belt, but I don't think that is the buckle. I think it's a little more east than us.
No, this is the, if you're doing the chino belt, this is the strap that hangs over the belt.
Right.
Yeah, it's that.
It's where your gun goes, basically.
Nashville's probably the buckle.
Yeah.
It's kind of like...
Okay, so here's the thing. So the Bible, I'm glad you brought this up because I've always been confused about the Bible Belt. I was trying to do some wiki research on Raleigh while you guys were talking. Couldn't really find anything interesting.
Home of Ryan Adams.
Yeah, that. So does the Bible Belt go north to south or east to west?
East to west.
Okay, I always thought it was
How do you wear your belts? Do you wear them over your shoulder?
Well, here's the thing. How are you looking at the country, man? Man, hey, there's that hippie guy, man. It could be north to south, man.
Well, I'm usually so stoned I'm laying down, so like it would be sideways.
Dude.
Yeah.
So that would mean like Maine is like the top of your beanie, right? California is like that's where your bottom is.
Your bottom.
Like your legs, dude.
Okay. Your wide legs?
Yeah, and then Florida's like your little arm that's going, peace, dude.
Or go like, hey, pass me that joint, bro.
Pass me that joint.
No,
hey, Cuba, pass me that joint, dude.
I think it goes like starts maybe in Oklahoma.
No joke. I thought it was Texas, Oklahoma, Kansas, Nebraska. I thought that was the Bible Belt. But the belt is actually hippity-doo.
Yeah, they're not wearing it like a wrestler. They're wearing it like a human.
Ah. Yeah, a wrestler belt.
Yeah.
Well, maybe it is. Maybe it's the Bible
shoulder.
T. It's the Bible.
Leather daddy. Is it leather torso?
Bandolero. It's the bandolero. It crosses over.
Tight. All right. Rob, what are you drinking there, man?
This is an IPA from Anthem. It's quite good. It's refreshing and not super bitter, which is sometimes the issue.
Care to go on
with
the flavor
IPA?
profile, please?
AnthemBrewing.com.
Let's see.
He sips.
What do you feel about the hoppiness? And there's a lot of phlegm in that one. Hoppiness.
It's a good amount of hops.
Yeah.
I like the hops.
It's my favorite.
Well, going back, you're kind of a beer guy. Like, you post photos of beers, and they're always ones I've never heard of, so that's why I think it legitimizes you. You're not posting a picture of a PBR over and over like most people.
Bless you.
I mean, this PBR is great. Might be the best I've ever had.
Yeah. I don't remember the last time I had a PBR.
No need to get snobby.
You're a craft beersman?
I definitely have fallen into whatever that is, but I kind of hate it. It's like I find really cool beers and I love them, but I mean, it's like anything. Like, there's a lot of douchiness around that, and I don't like any of those people.
Have you ever done homebrew stuff? Have you ever tried to homebrew?
Yes.
Okay. Are you still doing homebrew?
I should. I have all the equipment, and I should. I've brewed a couple really good beers. I did a clone of Pliny the Elder, which is like a big California beer. That was amazing. Yeah.
Dude, I never thought of that. Like, Josh and I work in the guitar effects pedal industry, and there's a lot of cloning and modifying and, revising old circuits to make something new that might not be for sale anymore. But I never thought about that with making beer.
Yeah.
That you can actually just clone beer. How close can you get? Can you get like, not you personally, but like, somebody, whether it's you or somebody else, can you get like pretty spot on?
I mean, it depends on the brewery. What did I just say?
Hey, it's the 5-year-old boy that brews beer.
It depends on the brewery.
That was legitimately a note that I wrote of something I want to talk about. Is the fact that I couldn't talk when I was like 5 years old. I couldn't say R's. And that is awesome that just came out.
It's called Boys for a reason.
The beer place.
Beer.
The place they make the beer. But it depends on if they want to give their recipe out, then you can pretty much do exactly what they did.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like what's involved in brewing beer is it's difficult to make it taste good. I mean, you can just put, yeast and hops, whatever the fuck it is you put together, and then you can make a shitty swill beer,
Yeah.
But in order to make it to give it the good flavor profile. I don't know what this is that I'm doing.
Are you an Italian chef all of a sudden?
You know what I mean? Yeah, it's difficult. I wouldn't want to do it. Don't make ghosts, actually. My brain just stopped.
They making a beer?
It turned off. No.
Oh,
They should.
they should.
No, Honky Dick was getting rid of all of his stuff. His nickname is Honky.
Who's Honky Dick?
Nick Wagner. He was getting rid of. He has a whole boatload of homebrew stuff, and he was getting rid of it. And I thought about buying it, but I did. I should have done it. Hey Nick, if you still got it, I'll take it off your hands.
I'll be honest. I love beer. Drank a lot of them in my day. I've never given thought to brewing beer because I am not a good cook, and I am really not good. I mean, I'm an organized person.
Well, you make real good meth, so maybe you can make like a good beer.
Know, I did watch some Breaking Bad. No, I don't know. I just don't think I have it in me.
See, I thought the same thing. I cannot cook. I hate cooking. My wife hates that I hate cooking. But I got the stuff, like I helped a couple people with theirs and I tried to like figure out what they were doing. And then I was like, okay, I'll get the stuff. And like, I love it, like legitimately love it. It's not difficult. Like it's a few steps. And then like, if you're like me and you're downing like $4 or $5 beers, like a couple times a day, then you can make a clone of something and spend like $50 as opposed to like 400.
And you made it. You'd have that
Right.
like you. What's like accomplishing something, having a goal, setting a goal, and then accomplishing that goal, and then you have a delicious beer that you get to enjoy after that.
And as you drink it, you're like, I birthed this.
Yeah.
I created that.
It's like eating the placenta.
Yeah.
You know? It's
Yeah,
like eating
totally.
your child.
Totally.
Oh, I'm always going to like birthing wards of hospitals and just constantly just eating raw placenta. It's good for you.
And then even like the cheesy part of it, like
Cheesy?
giving
Yeah,
it.
well, you want to put some cheese on that
Well,
placenta.
not that, but the brewing, like giving it to someone else and then they actually like it.
Yeah.
Like it's cool.
That
like,
is cool.
Yeah.
I had a friend, Tim, that brewed beer, and he'd bring me a few over every now and then. And just to be totally honest, the first few times, not so good. So you know what? Not only did I get drunk, but I turned into a great liar.
Yeah. Oh, this is really good.
This is good.
No, what's good though is that it opens your palate. It lets you understand what you do and do not like
Right.
about beers. I am not a sour beer guy.
Oh, I like the sour beer.
I've tried several, and I can't do it. And which problem, man? Sour beers are delicious. No, they're not. It tastes like what's that shit that you can put in like your like water to make it like country time lemonade?
Oh, like the little drops, the little flavor drops?
Like someone just emptied an entire thing into my beer.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like a good sour beer. Do you like sour beer, Rob?
So here's my tasting thing about beer that the first thing I ever drank was a Smirnoff Ice.
Mm-hmm.
I was 22.
Now you're talking craft.
I had never touched alcohol before that because I was straight edge.
Sure.
I was at the Copa.
And that was terrible. And then progressively like trying new things. The first time I ever had an IPA, I like spit it out. I was like, this is disgusting. Since then, probably like bordering on alcoholism, but I've tried so many things that I've come back around to all these things that initially I was like, this is terrible.
So you're like a big Smirnoff Ice guy.
Yes. I like,
Hey, Zima's back,
like
you know.
I bought stock.
Back to the ice.
Is that even a thing still?
Yeah.
Like
Ice beers?
yeah, like
Yeah.
Oh, there's all kinds,
Lost
man.
Lake Ice, Smirnoff
And
Ice.
there's all the
Bud
different
Ice?
like hard ciders and
Yeah.
lemonades and this and that. And like Josh just said, Zima's back.
Yeah.
Zima's
I think that's
back.
I think
It is. It's
companies
lame.
are really
Zima is not good.
harping on that. I've never had a Zima.
I've had a few.
I know, with
Back
some
in the-
Jolly Ranchers.
Yes.
I'm very
Back in
aware
the
of
day.
your history with Zima and Jolly Ranchers.
How do you know so much about my Zima?
Because it was a thing.
What, was it a thing you made fun of me behind my back to
I
your
didn't.
punk friends?
I never knew about Zima.
Yeah.
Anywho.
so.
Yeah.
There's a lot of like, and I've been there too, where I've been like, that sucks. I hate it.
Yeah.
Bleh. F Trump, like whatever. Just trying to be.
Does Donald Trump brew beer?
Nobody brews diarrhea. Did you see that picture of him that he shit his pants on the golf course?
No.
Go on, I'll pull it
I think
up.
I posted that.
Oh boy, in his diaper that he wears.
Yeah.
And that sweet, big, juicy ass of his.
It's not an ass. It's a diaper. Continue. Sorry.
Yeah, no.
It's a fucking diaper.
Yes.
Oh, President Trump shit in his pants.
He's carrying around his first term in the back of his underwear there. Boom! Boom. Go on.
Zinged him. You zinged him.
I
Anyway.
zemed him.
Yeah.
Currently, I do not like sours.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to take a breath and I don't know. Try
Understand
more.
the complexities.
Right.
I used to not be a fan of like stouts or dark beers. I just found them to be too not abrasive, but filling, like super filling. Like you could drink half one, like, oh, okay, well, I can't do that. And then I started starting with like, brown ales and then porters and work my way up to that. And now, in the wintertime, I love a real fucking stouty stout.
It's
Like
interesting.
Like the Anthem, you're a beer stout.
That's right. Yeah, I was going to bring that up too, man.
Mhm.
We're thinking alike. I like it. We're on this kick here lately. We've been doing this for a while. I like a stout beer, but I like a stout beer.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like one.
Right.
Because when I first drank I know Guinness isn't the most stout, but it's kind of a foray into more of a stout beer. And when I first drank a Guinness, I drank it like I would a Zima, if you will. I just downed it, and I was like, "Oh my god, I'm full!"
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I feel like I just drank a chocolate milkshake.
Yep.
Right.
But then you realize like those are beers that you like enjoy.
Right.
Sip.
You sip them, and especially with the Anthem Ouroboros Stout, that's a sipping beer.
Yeah, it'll get you in some trouble.
They're strong, they're heavy, they're delicious, but you can only have one, maybe two.
Yeah.
Two if you're dangerous.
It's not what the kids call a session beer.
Well,
The kids are calling it that?
I don't know. Dads are calling it that. I don't know.
I think I've also figured out, like, if I want to try a style that I don't really like, if I spend like $5 or more on it, I might actually like it.
Okay.
The more money you spend,
So like the cheaper ones, it's
Yeah.
just like, God, they tried really hard. And that did not go well.
Not so good.
See, that's what I love about like breweries and like Oklahoma City and Midwest City now too. It's like quite a few in both. So the Oklahoma City metro area, we now have about like 10 breweries or so. There's a lot of breweries. What I love about them, they all have tap rooms. So you can go in, you don't have to get a 16 ounce, a 12 ounce. You can get like a 2 ounce pour, a 4 ounce pour, something just to try it. And I did that yesterday Anthem has a new barrel aged golden one. Golden one's a super easy sippable.
One of my faves.
It's delicious. The barrel-aged one, I got a 4 ounce. It tasted like I was drinking whiskey.
Yeah.
Really?
No fucking shit. It was really good.
Are they stronger?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So this one that
Really
I
good.
brought, they have a gin barrel aged version of it.
Delicious.
And it's like 10%. And
Dang.
it tastes like
Jen.
gin.
Yeah.
And it's awesome.
Yeah.
But I drink like half of one of those.
Yeah.
There's another interesting thing. When I was young, I drank gin, and I thought it tasted so gross because we snuck into what was it? My uncle, I believe. I think I said my uncle. I'm making all this up, so it doesn't matter. But my uncle's liquor cabinet and like drank gin, like took a shot of it.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this tastes like library books. It's terrible. It tastes like dust. But as I get older, maybe my palate is getting more refined. I like a nice gin drink.
Yeah.
I'll tell you who has a good gin drink.
What's that?
I said, I'll tell you who has a
Who's that?
good gin drink. Gaiutis,
Gayute.
my new favorite place in the city. As you know, I'm going through this jam band.
Oh, yeah.
thing.
Yeah. Well, your shirt.
My old band shirt, though. See,
But
I
it's
was
tie-dyed.
planting the seed back. I tie-dyed this shirt.
I know. I helped tie-dye some of those shirts.
I know you did. Gaiutis is a restaurant here in Oklahoma City, restaurant/bar, and it is Fish and Grateful Dead themed. Primarily Fish,
all right.
the band. But they have some Grateful Dead shit on the walls too. But all their drinks are named after like Fish songs or Grateful Dead songs. They have a drink called the China Cat,
All right.
and it's got a gin and soda and some cucumber. Like
Sounds really refreshing.
it's amazing, but the gin is perfect in it. So, like I said, as I get older, I like to share one of those every now and then. Pretty good. Good stuff. So, okay, enough about beer, okay?
Yes.
I want to get to God, because this is so important to me.
God is important to you?
Well,
But
was.
what if beer is God?
Well, God is in everything.
You're getting deep.
Is God in this bottle? Hey, get out, God! You're gonna drown.
Wow. I can't go with you on that one.
No, I wanted to talk to you about that because as we talked about on 2AD, you know, we grew up in the Christian scene. All three of us did. We all went to church. Some of us did even more than that.
Led worship.
Some of us might have led worship. Some of us might have preached or testified, as they say, or moved to maybe perhaps chase this God delusion, as some call it. And I put in the notes here because I was talking about this to a friend of mine the other day. I don't consider myself an atheist. I can't.
Fear?
Equal parts fear, uncertainty, and maybe a little hope still. That there is something. Being raised in church, this is just my personal take, it's really hard for me to use that word to describe myself. I don't know. I want to hope to know, but I don't know. And there is a lot of fear involved. You know, you don't want to turn that light switch off forever.
Right.
When I was young, I remember my mom, she saw somebody and she said, "Oh, that's blasphemy." And I was like, "What's blasphemy?" And she's like, "It's the only unforgivable sin." And I was like, "Well, what is it?" Because I never want to do it, you know? And she said, it's denouncing God. Like, whether in an action, words, lifestyle. So I don't know to this day if I can truly denounce something that I'm not 100% sure of that doesn't exist. And I don't mean the Christian God.
Yeah.
I mean something that made this,
Well,
whatever it is.
Well, you just said it. I mean, the Bible was written by men thousands of years after the fact. So take that as you want. They created these laws and bylaws of like, have no other gods before me, blah, blah, blah. Don't mix two fucking fabrics and bullshit like that. And blasphemy is the big one. The reason why blasphemy is the big one is because that's the number one, have no other gods before me. When you denounce God, then that means all this is meaningless. So you can't get it back. You're not welcome back in the fold because you denounced it.
Right.
I've denounced God on several occasions because I went through a big phase of being angry when I learned that maybe religion was a bunch of bullshit. And you know, you're young, you're angsty, you're dumb.
You're saying Oklahoma's the butthole of America.
Yeah, that's you doing that. And me going, yeah, well, fucking God doesn't exist.
God doesn't even have a butthole. Explain that.
Explain that, preacher. And then I went to the thing of like, if God exists, then he's an asshole. If God is the God in the Bible, then he's a total asshole, or she.
Well, God's a man.
Well,
we know
course,
this.
we know this.
That's a face-to-face song.
It
But
is.
see, here's my thing.
Yes,
It's a good song.
I kind of agree with you. I mean, if the Christian God, I've already screwed myself there. But I tend to believe that there is nothing. Something made everything, but not an actual thing. Like science made some action, some reaction happened. It's how? Why?
Rob, I'd like to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, what's your thoughts, man?
Actually, I'll tell you what. We haven't got into our normal trajectory of the show. So why don't you, before you answer that, why don't you kind of give us a quick refresher on your life and where you are now?
Yeah.
My life.
Just the Cliff's Notes.
My life.
Bon Jovi song.
Cliff's Notes. So, yeah, what do I say?
Okay, let's begin. Let's begin with the hardcore Rob days because that's where I came to know you.
Yeah,
and that's where I think is a good jumping off point to get back into this discussion we were having.
So I had kind of the I was part of the whole the thing in the mid '90s where everybody would take like their secular CDs and burn them.
Oh yeah,
like break them and all that, and then it was like, well, if you like these bands, then you'll like this. So I went through that whole thing and kind of in that time frame got involved with some people that wanted to play music, and I was skateboarding. And that's where the hardcore Rob thing started. And then, I don't know, in high school, I think I was like, all the bands that I listened to, like MXPX and which I still love MXPX. That was not making fun of them. I love MXPX.
They're our friends. They're past guests. I'll call it Mike and tell him to kick your ass.
I listened to that episode.
Yeah.
So anyway, all these bands, I realized like they were wearing t-shirts and like promoting secular bands.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, why the hell can I not listen to those bands? So I went down that whole rabbit trail, but I feel like there was like a 4-year period that I just missed a lot of music, and I still feel like I'm like recovering from that.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like going back. Like,
so you straight up didn't listen to any secular
totally
music at all. Okay.
Like,
but that's the thing though, man. Like, I think the Christian scene, especially back then, was almost doing it better than the secular scene. Like there's a lot of like Christian metal bands and hardcore bands especially that personally I think we're doing it a lot better than the secular bands are doing it.
yeah.
Like Zayo was like fucking crushing it. Training for Utopia I think was doing it better than most bands in that genre.
It was an interesting dichotomy because there was a lot of talent, but I almost wonder if those bands would be better if they weren't a Christian band. Like if they could finally just be like, fuck, on the CD right. Instead of like, God, you know, like, I know you're angry. Mm-hmm. I know you're angry.
But the thing too, and we probably talked about this before, but like I was going to shows 2 or 3 nights a week as a 15-year-old. That would not happen if there was secular bands.
It did open a lot of opportunity and doors for us young'uns at the time.
To see bands.
Because I'd go to like Mocha Madness, which was, the Christian coffee shop in Midwest City. Yeah. I'd go there on like a Tuesday or a Thursday. And then, I was at Outer Cafe on Friday and usually Saturday too. And then sometimes Sunday there'd be a show at a church after the service. And then Monday would roll around and there'd be something at 12th Street. And it was like, then I was in
Fish
the
Market Mall.
I was in the band.
Yeah.
I was in a band. I was in the scene. I was going to shows. I went to more shows back then than I've been in the last 10 years, in like a couple years,
right.
So it did open a lot of doors for us. I think it also gave our parents kind of a safety net with us. Like, he's going to shows a lot, and they might be like smoking cigarettes in the parking lot or like touching a tit, but like, but they're not, they're not smoking weed. They're not, getting drunk. They're not like making terrible, questionable decisions with these like pervy rock stars.
Right. Getting far too jacked up on free coffee.
That's what it was. Yeah.
And then, maybe making out in a parking lot.
Maybe.
And then feeling really guilty about it afterwards.
Oh, yeah.
Well, and what's weird is, like, even talking to quite a few dudes that, like, I feel like I kind of grew up in that scene with, like, just how Christianity, whatever that means, like, it was just assumed. And we never talked about it. It was just kind of like a thing, be like, if you were born African American, like you don't talk about that as a kid. Like it's just who you are. So I think I just kind of was part of that, and then started getting more involved in church related things. And my parents became like youth pastors, so I was like assistant youth pastor. And then from there, I became like a worship leader. And then from there, I became like a deacon. And then like eventually becoming like a legit pastor, and which is a weird now to think about, but preaching and all of that. And I really think what kind of pushed me out of that was doing what those people talk about, which is like actually reading the Bible. Like, so I was spending a lot of time like trying to figure it out and reading all these books and the history and all of it. And then I was like, at the time I was like, man, this is like complete bullshit, all of it. And now I'm not there. So back to your thing about like not being able to say like I'm an atheist. 7 years ago, I would have said I am an atheist. Today, I really think a lot of that is semantics. So it's like, what does that word mean? Atheist. I lack a belief in a specific God, then yes, I'm an atheist because I don't know.
If that's the
Right,
if that's the
right.
definition, then I would be
Right.
too. But I don't think that's the true definition.
Atheist is
Denouncing the existence
Not
of the
believing,
Christian
yeah.
God, right?
Yeah, not believing. No, atheist. You believe in nothing. Like, well, that's nihilism. But like, I mean, I guess atheism is, yeah, I don't believe in any kind of faith. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Agnostic is
I don't know.
If you can prove it, then great. But it can't be proven. You know what I mean? Nothing that is faith based can ever be proven scientifically to
Right.
you. It's all based on faith.
Right.
So I don't know. I mean, no one knows anything. You can't say. No one can say.
A
for
lot
a
of
fact,
people think they know, though.
Well, no one can say for a fact there is no God or there is no thing because we don't. I mean, there's a sliver of a chance, a small percentage,
Right.
of a percentage
Whichever
of a chance.
side of the fence you're on,
Mhm.
and however far on that side of the fence you are,
Mhm.
there is a sliver.
Sure,
And
like
that's
aliens, same thing.
well, they real.
They
They real. I saw them when I was a kid.
Yeah.
It's just really interesting because I can't say there isn't for a fact, in my personal opinion.
Mhm.
You know, if there is, does it matter? Maybe not.
Yeah.
If there isn't, does it matter? Maybe not.
Yeah.
You know, but I do believe in something. And maybe it's science.
Mhm.
Maybe it's science. Maybe it's a little, all these different flavors mixed in together.
Mhm.
But when I was outside last weekend, out in the middle of nowhere, under the stars, in like no light pollution, and you could see layers and layers and layers of stars. And man, I just had this like moment where I was just like drinking that in. And that didn't translate to like, oh, God made this. But I was like, I just needed to know how this could be explained.
Yeah.
Whether it's science or God. Like, I need to know, like, please. And like, I saw a shooting star, and I could see several constellations. And like, I was just like, I need to know. I need some fucking answers.
Yeah.
There is
need
no
it.
answer. I think that comes with maybe I'm just speaking from my personal experience with age. Like the older I get, the more you think about death is imminent and everyone dies. And the older you get, the more certain it becomes that what's after that. Is there anything after that? It's the selfishness of humanity of thinking that it's ego, thinking that I mean something. When you think about how many people there are in this state, in this country, on this planet, and then how long have people been alive? Human beings, there's been trillions of people that have already died. Why am I worth a shit? You know what I mean? So then, like, it maybe goes to nihilism. Everything is meaningless. Life is pretty much meaningless. You have to find the meaning while you're here. You're here. Make the most of it. Enjoy it. But just know that it's finite.
That's something that, just to be honest, that's something that's really been hard for me to accept up to this day. Now, tomorrow I'll be fine.
Mm-hmm.
No, but like seriously, like I think about that all the time. I always go back and forth because I have a little bit of an ego. I know I do. Just being real.
Mm-hmm.
Real talk with Robbie Ray.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I was going to call the podcast. And this jackass had to join.
Wow.
See, that was ego. Get it? That was a little joke.
Sure.
A little ego joke. No, but I do. I know I do, and I try to keep it in check. And I'm self-aware.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I know deep down, I feel like I think I matter way more than I do, as far as like being a speck on this expanse of time.
Mm-hmm.
I was downtown a couple days ago, and they had all these old photos hanging on the wall. And there were all these, it was like photos from like the 1910s, 1920s. And I was looking at them, and you could see there were like kids, there were like adults and like, fedoras
Mm-hmm.
and like very Dick Tracy era looking stuff. It was when they were building like some of the stuff downtown in Oklahoma City. And the first thing I thought of was all these people are dead.
Mm-hmm.
All of them. And there were hundreds in these photos.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, what makes me any different?
Yeah.
Nothing. Because it doesn't matter how good you treat your body or how bad you treat your body or what you believe in or what kind of, honestly, what kind of person you are.
Right.
It's like everything has an expiration date.
Yeah.
And some come quicker than others.
Right.
And I'm not saying that in a way that's like, well, then fuck it, be a terrible person that hates God. It's just like, no, but I do want to be good. And that supersedes me wanting to align with the religion. Like, I want to be good to people. and I'm not always good. But I really have a desire to like be a good person and just be nice and pleasant. And, you know, I'm not going to go out there and like donate my time every weekend and volunteer and just, you know, spend every waking hour doing that. But just little things like being pleasant to be around, not being an asshole, I think means so much, especially where we're at now.
Yes.
Because it's hard. It's hard to be positive right now.
Yeah.
Would you agree?
No, totally. And, you know, kind of connected to that, like, not to like spill the beans. Who says that? Spill the beans.
I don't know. Hardcore Rob's comeback album, Spilling the Beans.
Spill the beans. Every song title is like an old euphemism from back in the day, or saying from back in the day.
It's a barista themed hardcore album.
Spilling the beans.
Spill the beans.
What was I saying?
Well, you're gonna spill the beans, so go ahead.
So,
We're gonna spill the beans.
So what initiated a road trip? Not to get too dark here, but
Dark roast. Spilling beans.
Yeah. A dude that I knew in high school that I was pretty good friends with in high school, but I haven't seen him in 20 years, almost 20 years. OD'd a couple weeks ago and died. And it was an accidental thing. And it was, so that just like got me thinking about like, okay, I haven't seen a lot of people in years. Like I need to go see these people, but also like, I didn't go to the funeral. That's always a weird thing. Like somebody that you knew, but you almost feel like it would be wrong for you to go to their funeral.
It's almost that happened. That, not to interrupt, that happened to me recently. One of our friends passed away, and I went to the viewing. I went and paid my respects. I was there for a few minutes, hugged a few people, like had a moment, you know. But I didn't go to the funeral because, and we used to be kind of tight, never real tight, but like more than acquaintances, between acquaintances and friends.
Yeah.
And I didn't go to the funeral, and I felt really guilty. But sometimes I feel that you're doing a disservice to the people that really are their friends. Not that they wouldn't want as many people there to celebrate the life of someone, but you know, I don't know. It was just personally, I was just like, I don't know if I need to be there. And I did go to the viewing, and I did have a moment and paid my respects, but you know, I don't want every high-low acquaintance at my funeral.
Right.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
That's what we were. That what we were. Boy, Beals.
Kids.
But yeah.
Welcome to Boys. We're all 5 years old.
Welcome to
kids.
kids talking about death
Beals.
and just spilling the beans.
No, that happened real recently with me. An acquaintance. I mean, like he was kind of a friend, but we never really hung out. Same, even less so. And everyone's like, "Are you gonna go to the funeral?" I'm like, I feel like I would want to be there to show my respects, but like you said, like I think that's more of a time for like his close
friends and family.
Close friends and family. It's for them, you know. It sucks that someone that young passed away, and I feel terrible about it, but you know what I mean?
You know what I do?
I feel it's more respectful to just let it's for them.
Yeah, exactly. And when I die, I don't care about having, let's pack this place out and get a pit going up front. It's like, no, I just want I just want people to recognize it,
right?
And be like, oh, he was a good person.
But for me, that goes. I think about that a lot too with my own death. Like that's an ego thing too. Like I want everyone to be there. I want it to be a party. Like what the fuck do you matter? You're one person who died. Yeah. You know, like. But again, it would be great if people would come and party at my funeral. You know what I mean?
And that's kind of like where my head has gone has been like, okay, when I die, which is inevitable. Like even accepting that fact, that reality is hard. Like, oh, it's going to happen. Like, I don't know when, but, like asking myself, like, what are people going to say about me? Like, what are they going to think about me? What are they going to remember?
Right.
And so that, to me, there's this philosopher, Simon Critchley, to get super nerdy, but he wrote this article about the afterlife, and the whole idea was like, no, I don't believe in the afterlife, but I believe in like the memories that come after your life. like we don't live forever, but our memories, other people's memories of us can. Right. So what are we going to do with that?
What are you leaving behind?
Right.
Yeah.
Dude, I've thought about that exact thing before. And I think the meanest thing you could say to someone is no one will remember you when you die.
Oh, yeah.
Like you will never matter in the annals of time.
Well, if you think about it, if you want to get real, let's say the human average lifespan for a human, and it's gonna get incrementally larger with technology and advancement. So right now, what's around like 75, 80?
Yeah.
Let's say we're in our mid to late 30s now. So by the time we're
late,
by the time we're in our 70s, which is what 40 years from now. So 40 years from now, with the advancement of technology, let's say they can make it to where we can live to where 120. Let's just say that.
I'm good.
Okay, so 120 years on this planet, right? That's cool. That's
it wouldn't be.
Hold on. No, it would be fucking terrible. It would be fucking terrible. Do you think anyone that you had contact with, no one's going to remember you after like 50 years.
Right.
Because those people are going to die. Like, I think about like great-grandparents. I don't know who the fuck they are. I'm not going to remember them. After my parents die, no one's going to remember them. It's just, your memory will die. Now, it's how you affect. I'm not saying get famous, be a movie star, or whatever. How do you affect people can make a chain. Like, you know, I don't know. Maybe you just know you have a family. Like, oh, great grandpa Rob, he was always blah, 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 you know? And then the memory goes down that way.
You're totally right. And to add to that, you know, I used to be not into the idea of having children. Well, now since I'm on a different configuration than I used to be,
Great way of putting that.
Thanks. I'm divorced. I've recalculated certain things in my mind and thought about like, okay, well, maybe I am, but I wasn't before for whatever reason. Mm-hmm. And maybe children are a way of keeping you alive after you die. Like not only biologically, but with that memory.
Sure.
Yeah.
Or genetically. You're keeping yourself. But I seriously thought you were about to say, I believe children are the future. Teach them well. Let them lead the way.
Well, this is an interest. So I've been thinking about this a lot lately. Both of my kids are about to be seniors in high school.
That is fucking crazy.
So, which is, I don't know anyone else in that situation. So we go hang out with like a bunch of weird racist, like white people, the parents of my kids' friends. And they're all in their 60s and they're really confused. Like, how do you, what? And they think my wife is like my sister or my daughter and all of that. But I've been thinking a lot about just like things I wish someone would have told me when I first had kids, or I was, you know, thinking as a teenager, like, oh, I want to have kids. Like, just, yeah, anyway, I could go off on that forever, but like, it's a weird thing that I'm definitely not prepared for. Like, my kids are going to be in college. Like, what? Like, it's weird. Mm-hmm. And I'm not even 40. Like, they're going to graduate and I will still not be 40. Like,
that's insane, man. And to put it into context, I mean, you know, when you and I shared that stage together one hollow night many, many years ago, does that not seem like that wasn't very long ago?
Right.
I mean,
totally.
To be honest, it does seem like it's been a little while ago.
Right.
But not kids that are seniors in high school long ago.
Right. You guys weren't seniors, though. You guys were like 15 or 16.
I was probably 16 at the time. Yeah. Probably 16.
That's so weird to think about. And then think about, like, because I have friends who have kids who are in their teenage or they're, you know, getting close to that. And, like, I can't help but think, like, your kid's 14. All right, well, I got a hand job when I was 14.
Well, so did he.
But you look at him like, you're a baby. You're a child.
Right.
But that goes back to, like, the way you view, like, I wrote down, you're the star of your own movie in your life. Like, the way you see it is like, I'm I'm just living my life.
Right.
But to adults, you're a baby. You know what I mean? Like, and that's pretty much your whole life. The way people see you is not the way you think people see you.
Yeah.
I was talking to my buddy last night about that, or the other night about that. To me, Robbie is a secondary character. He's the co-star in my movie, and you're a third character in my movie.
Yep.
You know what I mean? But
Yep.
to you guys, you're the stars of your own movie. And when you leave, your character arc stops when you leave that door
Right.
from, you know what I mean? But that's yours is going on. That kind of shit, it's weird.
It is. It's very weird.
It's weird.
And it goes back to when I took a psychology class.
A
Yeah, I can't
psychological
talk
class.
either. When I learned how to talk, when I went to college, they said, and I think I brought this up before on the show, but it's just worth repeating.
Mm-hmm.
Like, let's say there's two Robs talking to each other. There's Rob and there's Robbie. There's hardcore Rob, there's Robbie Ray. All right, we're spilling the beans here. We're doing real good. There's actually 6 people conversing at the same time. There's me, there is you, there is the way you perceive me, the way I perceive you, and then there's the way I think you perceive me and the way you think that I perceive you. So there's really 6 different channels of communication there. And all of those channels intertwine. It's insane to think about. And I really, that was instilled in my mind when I was like 19. And I've always thought that, especially when I meet someone new, because not only do I want to communicate with them well, but I want them to make sure that I'm clear in my communication and I want to be perceived well. So I'm trying to like put a little bit of my brain in each one of my characters, you know, but that is crazy, Josh. Like, there's millions of movies going on at one time.
That's something that I've thought about probably since I was like 14 or 15. I started thinking of it that way, and like, it's so crazy that's how it is. And then, it kind of goes away. And the other night I had a couple of beverages with a friend on my back porch, and that got brought up. And it's like, that's totally how it is. It's weird.
Yeah.
And I think if more people thought of it that way, it lets you take a step back. And instead of
Like you're from Raleigh.
Instead of being the camera, the thing looking at it, take a step back as like a director of it and see it from a thing and be like, maybe I should treat people with a little more respect. Maybe I should think about, maybe I do something that, you know what I mean? Like, direct your life in a better way.
Yeah.
Make you a better person.
A director. A better director.
A better director of your own life.
So we got to wrap up here pretty soon, but I did have one more thing I wanted to bring up because we've been talking about religion and stuff.
Yeah.
And this is something that's been on the list for a while, but I thought it'd be the perfect person and the perfect time to bring it up because you have some experience in being a pastor, a preacher, whatever, a testifier, whatever.
Yeah.
So going back to being young and being in church, as I was raised there, as you all were raised there too.
Of course.
Or wait, were you raised in church or did you get jiggy with it a little later? Because you were talking about like getting into the music and skateboarding and stuff. So
yeah, I was like from as far back as I remember. Yeah.
Okay, great. So we're all on the same page here.
Yeah.
How do you explain hell to a child?
You don't.
It was explained to me pretty early because I went to some weird churches when I was a kid. But even in the Baptist church I spent most of my adolescence in, how do you as a preacher
I get it.
explain hell to a child?
Yeah, that's a weird. I just listened to this it's a pretty good podcast called the Liturgist Podcast. It's anyway, I'm not going to go off into that, but there's a whole episode on spiritual trauma. And part of it is like people telling their stories about hearing about hell as children and how that in and of itself, psychologically, like a legitimate therapist making a diagnosis would say that is traumatic.
Yes. Just
Hearing about it and thinking about that is traumatic, like as an experience. So I definitely had that as a kid, but one of the things that kind of sent me off in a different direction was I became like the theology nerd. And even the last church that I worked at, like people would come to me with theological questions, and I was always the guy that was like, okay, well, here's this perspective, and here's, the historical, here's how the Catholics look at it, and the Orthodox, and, blah, 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 blah. But hell was one of those things that, like, the longer I was teaching and trying to explain things to people and leading small groups and leading classes, I talked about it less and less, and to the point where I didn't talk about it at all, and I didn't believe it was a thing anymore. And so, you know, when my kids were little, I did like teach them the Bible, whatever that means, whatever I thought I should be teaching them. And I don't think I talked about hell. Probably because I had like a subconscious, like traumatic memory of thinking about it. And what does that mean? And what if I do the wrong thing or say the wrong thing? Or, at this point, I think trying to have that conversation with a child is child abuse.
It's interesting. I
Like-
wanted. I had that on the list for a long time, and because it was explained to me pretty young, and then kind of forced down my throat in this like fire and brimstone, quote unquote, kind of way, and I have to say it's probably part of the reason I am where I am now, because I was so scared of the devil, and so scared of burning for eternity for so long.
I think that's why a lot of people you listen to, you talk to, who were raised in a Christian upbringing now aren't. They all have that. They all have that, not Christian guilt, but that fear of that, because it's ingrained in you when by the time you're 5 or 6. Like, I was saved when I was 6 or 7. Maybe more 6, but it was based on the preacher was doing a hell, fire, brimstone, eternal torment. That's where you go if you're not saved. Scared the living bejesus out of me. So I gotta lock this in. I'm not going to hell. Lock that shit in. But then like the Duncan Trussell podcast, he a year or so ago, he was talking about the Bible and dissected it into there is no literal heaven. There is no literal hell. Heaven, the way it's written in the Bible, is metaphorical, allegorical. It's a place of peace. Once you, like nirvana, I guess, once you reach that enlightenment, heaven is enlightenment.
Are you sure?
Yes.
I need to call in a ref here.
Yeah.
Because I don't know a ton about the Bible, but I was always under the impression, and maybe it was just the way my pastor spun it, that heaven and hell were physical places to Christians.
Because they're taking the Bible literally.
Okay. I see what you mean.
As a literal, the way it's written, sure, it's a literal place. But if you really think about it, it's kind of just metaphorical for if you live a good life and you do the good deeds and whatever, you can experience heaven on earth. That's what it should be. Right. Streets of gold, and that's all just what's the materialistic bullshit. Not that. Hell is metaphorical for if you live a shitty, selfish life, you're just going to come to these bumps in the road, and it's just going to be a shitty life for you and everybody around you. Kind of metaphorical for that.
What do you think?
I think that this is one of those topics that kind of sent me down this path of okay, well, Orthodox Jews don't believe in heaven and hell. So where did this idea come from? Well, if you look at the New Testament, and they use phrases like kingdom of heaven, kingdom of God, that's talking about now, right here and now, bringing, however you want to say it, bringing God's peace and love and harmony to the earth. And a lot of that stuff is cultural. It comes from Dante. It comes from the history that's built up around misinterpretations of a lot of things in the New Testament, and especially the book of Revelation, which is legitimately about the first century in Rome. It's not about the future. So all of that, even as I was a hardcore evangelical, I was I don't think there's a heaven or a hell. And I don't think that's what the Bible was talking about. It is it's metaphorical. It's like Jesus was walking around telling all these stories and trying to get people to think about how they're living and the effects that it has on other people. So I would, even up to the point where I quit working for that church, I would tell people, I don't believe there's a heaven or a hell.
But see, when you put it that way, Jesus, this man, this prophet, this special chosen person, whatever, him going around telling people like, hey, maybe you could live this way. And that sounds like a beautiful thing.
Right. Yeah.
So where did it go wrong?
Man's interpretation. Well, it's the way they wrote the Bible, the way, who was it? Constantine?
Yep.
And like leaders of, the people.
Mm-hmm.
In order to rule them, you have to create this. I mean, what's the greatest way to rule somebody is tell them that God said that you have to do things this way. So you scare the shit out of them. Like if you die, you're going to go to hell. Yeah. So obey. And then, because it always says, the Bible says,
obey your thirst.
No, obey your thirst. Man's law and then God's law. So you create these crazy laws but God's law is supreme over that.
Right.
So yeah. I mean, there's also the thing with Jesus, like Jesus may or may not have been a real person. That could be metaphorical as well. Crucifixion could be crucifying your egoic self and then rising out of that as anew, getting rid of selfishness and all of that.
That's what blows my mind about the Bible. And I do think the Bible is interesting. Like whether you believe it or not, whether it's fiction or nonfiction to you, I do think it's a pretty cool book. Yeah. Like, I'm not saying I agree with everything.
That sounds like that's a 90s. Hey, you know what? It's a pretty cool book, guys.
Hey, it's the good book. They call it the good book for a reason. It's pretty cool. I think it is cool. Like, whether you consider those fables or whether you take them to heart, whatever. I haven't read all of the Bible, and sometimes I'll lie and be like, oh yeah, I've read the whole Bible. I've read like, bits and pieces.
Lots of it.
In
bits, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I do think it's cool. Like the fact that all those stories are together and they're all pretty coherent. And then there's like crazy fantasy shit in it. It's like, it's like, dude.
Or there's an entire book of the Bible that's super sexual and like kind of dirty.
Yeah.
Like Song of Solomon, that shit's dirty as shit.
But I still find the history from like, 0 AD to like Constantine.
Mm-hmm.
That history is super fascinating to me. Just, there were all these groups of people who heard about this Jewish prophet walking around saying all this crazy stuff and were meeting in people's houses. And that was it for 300 and something years. Like that was like, you cannot draw a straight line from that to the 21st century church.
Mm-hmm.
It's you have to draw, like you have to add all these layers of like oh well, Constantine like took government buildings and converted them into churches. That's why we have churches. Like it wasn't like the Bible said you have to meet in a building once a week on Sunday. Like none of that's there.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's all just made like they're a cultural. I quit.
Rude. No. Rude. No, I'm just kidding.
Cultural reasons that those things happen, but they're like I think the true, like to get back to, okay, what is the good thing about like the New Testament? Well, it has nothing to do with any of that other stuff. It's just like I will not call myself a Christian, but if other people think that I treat them the way my understanding of this person or this amalgamation of people that created this story in the first century, if they say that I'm like that person, okay, cool. Like, well, great. Like
Christian means Christ-like. And if you were to actually, that's what I always found fucking crazy or just kind of funny in church. Like youth pastors or teachers, Sunday school teachers and preachers being like, Christian, to be Christ-like, be Christ-like. Like, you're not being Christ-like. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
The dude was totally against like money and shit and money exchanging hands in the church.
Right.
Totally. Yeah. Basically hung out with the lowest of the low, and basically just taught peace, love your neighbor, don't be an asshole. Pretty much that's it. Up until the point he died, it was basically like, whatever.
There's a Nietzsche quote where he says, there was only one Christian and he died on the cross. Like, that's like no one is that.
Right.
And even, compare it to like Buddhism. Like we're all trying to be that. We're not going to achieve it.
Ever.
Like, we're just trying to be good. And that's fine. Like, it's great.
I think it's be good, but be realistic and don't give yourself any shit when you fuck up. Like, everyone fucks up. Be as good as you can. Realize that there are going to be moments where you falter and just learn from the mistakes.
Yeah. I think that's probably a good place to wrap it up and bring it back around is no matter what you choose to believe, just be good. Just be good. Like, we could get into the whole conversation of like, oh, there's so many Christians that are so fucked up and they're so this and so that. It's like, but there's a lot that aren't.
Yeah.
And that is, to me, something that really gets on my nerves about people who are anti-theist is like painting all people. Like a lot of liberals, I'm going to paint some people here. Like a lot of liberals, maybe myself included sometimes, they want to be like, oh man, all Christians are fucking hypocrites and they're greedy and they're shitty. It's like, but
Bill Maher.
Right.
Sorry.
but
Sorry.
but then they're also like, not all Islamics are terrorists, but all Christians are assholes. It's
Right,
like
yeah.
you're doing the same exact thing just because it's hip to take the side of the Islamists and not the side of maybe a Christian, because especially where we're from, they're the enemy to a lot of people.
Yeah, and I've really tried hard, especially like kind of getting through I went through the anti-theist phase of just like all of that, just bitterness and resentment and anger and just ignorance. But now I try really hard. If I'm going to make a blanket statement, that I'm going to picture people that I know. Like if I'm going to say Christians are blank, if I can think of exceptions to that, then it's not true.
Yeah.
And I'm just speaking like Trump, just saying a bunch of words that don't mean anything.
Yeah,
like,
speaking generalities. Yeah.
It's terrible. Much like this episode.
Well,
Just kidding. had to end it with some comedy.
Busta Rhymes said it best. Everybody spread love.
Give me some mo.
Give me some more.
Give me some mo.
give us about.
All right, Rob, thank you so much for coming
Yes,
by,
awesome.
man. It's been enlightening and interesting.
Yes, man.
I've learned a lot about beer, learned a little about God. You know what? Learned a little about myself.
Learned a lot about living, a little about love.
Hey, all I got to say is amen.
All right.
Amen.
Next time.
Bye.
So be it. It's a John Moylan song.